This information is public data, and although it may seem confusing and contradictory at first, it signals that we are at the beginning of an economic and financial transformation. When we talk about the Bank of America's quarterly survey, known as the Fund Managers Survey or FMS, we are talking about a very important barometer of the financial market. This report reflects how the world's largest fund managers, who move trillions of dollars in assets, are positioning their portfolios. And within that analysis, there is one data point that is very striking: these managers' relationship with cryptocurrencies. According to the latest report, barely 9% of fund managers hold digital assets, and the average allocation of their portfolios to cryptocurrencies is minimal, only 0.3%. In other words, out of every $100 they manage, barely 30 cents go to the crypto world. This clearly tells us that, so far, institutional money has not yet seriously entered this sector. And here's the key. Many interpret this low participation as a failure of cryptocurrencies, but I see it as the opposite. I see it as a historic opportunity. Because if cryptos have achieved enormous market capitalizations today, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, it has been mainly thanks to retail investors, pioneering companies, and more recently, the approved ETFs. But the vast majority of institutional money is still watching from the sidelines. Now, why haven't the big fund managers entered yet? There are several reasons. Key barriers to institutional adoption. First, there is regulation. Until recently, the crypto ecosystem was surrounded by legal uncertainty. Which assets are considered securities, how they should be custodied, what investor protection they have, and so on. For an institutional fund, which manages the money of thousands of clients and must comply with strict regulations, the lack of regulatory clarity has been a huge barrier. Second, there is the perception of risk. Many traditional managers still see cryptocurrencies as an asset that is too volatile and speculative. And we have to admit it, in a market where Bitcoin can fall 50% in a matter of months, for someone accustomed to the relative stability of treasury bonds or major stocks, it is very difficult to take the leap. And third, there is cultural and financial inertia. Most fund managers were trained in a system where gold was the store of value, bonds were the security base, and stocks represented growth. For them, thinking about decentralized digital assets is still a difficult paradigm shift to assimilate. You've come this far, thank you. Leave your comment on the video and the other videos on the channel. Check out more videos like this on the channel. The unprecedented opportunity, however, all of this does not mean a definitive rejection. On the contrary, it means we are still in the early stages of institutional adoption. And this is where I want to focus. Because if today the average allocation is 0.3%, what would happen if in the coming years it rises to 1%, 2%, or even 5%? Let's consider that institutional investment funds manage trillions of dollars. A small percentage change, a slight redistribution of portfolios, would imply a massive influx of capital into the crypto market. And that, with a limited supply like Bitcoin's, can only mean one thing: a strong revaluation. That's why I believe the moment we are living in is a unique opportunity. We are at a point of transition where regulations are beginning to provide security, where ETFs facilitate the entry into cryptocurrencies in a regulated and transparent way, and where more and more companies and individuals see in Bitcoin and other digital assets a tool to protect against inflation and diversify their wealth. In the meantime, institutional managers remain cautious. And that caution, far from being a problem, is a signal that the best is yet to come. Because when that big capital decides to make a move, when they see that they can no longer ignore this market, then we will see an unprecedented impact. Today, with an average allocation of 0.3%, cryptos are already on everyone's lips. Imagine what will happen when that figure multiplies by 5 or 10. Institutional money has not yet fully entered, and that is precisely the great opportunity for those of us who already understand the value and potential of this technology. Visit website fastcryptonews.com